All right, so you are welcome back. So let's talk about the next rule. So this one is basically is basically having something to do with the name of God. You know, God in Hebrew is called Elohim. So that is the general word for God. Elohim. It can mean God. It can mean gods. So it can mean God since it is pointing, can point to plural gods, and it can point to the Almighty God. But until the book of Exodus chapter 3, if I'm not mistaken, chapter 3, where God himself appeared to Moses, and he revealed his name, his real name to Moses, and which is the name Yahweh. Yahweh. So which is Jehovah or Yahweh. That is the self-existing one. So, but in that is another topic entirely. When it comes to there is a way by which you apply or you attach your what's it called, your inseparable preposition to that one to Yahweh, because it is read as it is written as Yahweh but read as Adonai or Adonanu. So that is the Lord. So we say that is another thing. So, but let us basically face the Elohim aspect. So if you want to attach your inseparable preposition to Elohim, let's write Elohim first. Elohim. Elo, Elohim. As Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 is being read in Hebrew as Bereshit bara Elohim with Asamain Wahid Aret. That is, in the beginning created created God, heaven and earth. So Elohim there, the word Elohim is written as this. This is the name Elohim. That is the word God. Elohim. Now, if you look at this word Elohim, the beginning of it is starting with a composite shewa. You should know that. So if I'm you are going to say, no, I'm going to apply the same law to it, which is okay, your inseparable preposition is just going to assume the short but it is not written like that in Hebrew. That is why Hebrew language is very, very complicated at times, because there is a way by which you address. There are different ways by which you address. Even if you go to their land, you want to address their women. There is a way you address their women. There is a way you address their men. So there is a kind of, and there is a way you address God. You cannot just call the name of God anyhow, because they believe, according to Exodus chapter 20, it says that do not call the name of the Lord your God in vain. So they still take that to their heart. You cannot just say God anyhow. You just say Yahweh, so they can stone the person to death. That is their ancient law to it. But basically, that is not where we are going to. But Elohim. So how do you attach your inseparable preposition to Elohim? That is what we are going to look into now. So it's not going to take the regular form of the previous law. So now this is what is going to happen in Elohim. Now you want to say to Elohim. So this is what will happen. Now this is a consonant, right? Aleph. This is a consonant. So in this case, everything under the Elohim, that is the composite shewa, will disappear totally. Now, meanwhile, this one will now be silent. It will be silent. It will not be pronounced at all. It will be silent. It will be dead. That is, it is going to lose its consonant character. So then it's not going to the inseparable preposition is not going to assume sere. Sere, we all know the sere. Sere is our a. That is the two dots. This is sere, which means hey. So it's not going to assume that. Meanwhile, all this one will disappear, and the inseparable preposition will assume the sere. Now let's see example. Now I want to say to God be the glory, but I will not attach be the glory to it, so that you not be confused. Let's say to God. So don't forget that two is lamed. Lamed is two. Lamed is to. That is what lamed is standing for. Lamed, which is our L, is to. Now applying that rule to it, you want to say to God. So don't forget that the vowel that will be under lamed will now be sere. So which is le. Look at this now. This is if we are to pronounce this syllable now. This is le. Now all these ones are gone. The what's it called? This composite shewa, they are gone. So we now have our aleph. This is our aleph. So aleph is silent. So we move on to lo him. So class, we are to pronounce this now. We are going to pronounce this as Lelohim. That is to God. Lelohim. Sorry, you're having issue with the reflection. Just take it that way. But the last letter here is Mem. Last letter is Mem, which is Lelohim, to God. To God, Lelohim. You can see that it is not Elohim again, because the what's it called, the aleph there is dead, is silent, so you are not going to pronounce aleph again, so it's just going to be Lelohim. Now let's say to in God. In God, don't forget our bet is, our in is simply represented by bet. In God, so it will now be Belohim. Belohim. In God is now Belohim. Belohim in God. Now as God or like God, don't forget that as or like is our calf, which is letter K, and we have our Siri. So we have the dead, what's the dead letter, and we have our Lamed Lo Him. Le Lo Him. That is as God. That is as God. Lelohim, to God. Belohim, in God. Kelohim, as God. So that is that about the one that had to do with preposition that you are attaching to the name Elohim, which is the name of God. So don't forget that Aleph is going to lose its consonantal character, is going to be silent, and we are going to remove the composite shewa, and we are going to put a serif, the vowel serif, under each of the, what's it called, each of the preposition, as the Aleph will be dead and will be silent. So we are moving into the next one. We still have like 2 more rules to treat before I call it a day. So stay tuned and thank you for watching.